The first step is to open Quartus 16. The next will be to open the project file, QSP file. The D2105 web server file. Wait. Next, you open your Nios 2. Okay. Once Nios 2 opens Eclipse, you go to File, New, Nios 2 Application, and BSP from Template. For the SOPC information file name, you click on this ellipsis button, then look for DE2-115 web QSys .sops info. You load it and wait for a while. Once the file is loaded, you can give it a project name. I'm gonna give it circuit 0. Now for the names to give it, there shouldn't be space in between, otherwise it's gonna reject it. So you should give it underscore or just concatenate it as a camel case name. Next step will be to select simple socket server RGMII. Click next, then finish. All that works. Now that this is done, there are a couple of things to do. The first, we're going to be changing some files, and we're going to be adding other files. First, there is tsc mysystem.c file, so open it by double clicking on it, then delete the Mac from this name. That's the first thing. Save. The next will be network utilities, Wherever you see ext, we will be replacing it with CFI. I'll explain why that is the case, but you type in ext underscore, you're going to be replacing it with CFI underscore, replace all. Okay. Now the reason that is because for the board, ext that was removed represents whichever board it is. But for our Altera D215 board, it's CF5, because in the system.h file here, if I look for ext, it's not there. The starting name of our flash device, but type in CFI underscore. This is the exact name for our flash device on our D215 board. That's why we decided to rename it in the network utilities, because if you had built it with ext, it won't work. It'll show you some errors. So you save this. Now the next step will be to move some files. There are some files here, two in fact, sssd215.c, sssd215.h. So you're going to copy both of them, and you're going to be pasting them in socket server. That's the directory you created just now. And once they're there, let's refresh. Right click on it and you refresh. They're there. The next thing to do will be here. Okay. Go back to the directory for your embedded project. Go to software on folder up. I'm going to be looking at this one. Whichever text editor you have, you can make it through it. So I'm going to be using Notepad. Drag the simple socket server.c here and just extend it. Then go to the last portion of it. Immediately on top of these comments, just scroll. You're gonna see this part. Watch the closing braces, the closing curly braces and braces. They're for a number: 1, 2, 3, 4. And so you're gonna go back to Eclipse. You're gonna open the same thing, and you're gonna go down to the same place we just watched. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is exactly this. The difference is I commented out this line like so and added a few things. So what you'll do is you go to the next line and just copy what you have here. Then after this function, there is another function I call utility function. Just copy whatever you see here and paste it here. Of course, this is this. Then if you scroll up, alright, to where you have SSS handle accept. If you go back to Eclipse and hit Ctrl F, SSS, you'd see the function. So you're going to go down to the end of that function. Okay, here. instead of this, you're going to be commenting out this and this. Then you're going to be adding one more line, just the way you have it here. You're going to be commenting out this as well. Save your result. Yeah. Then we'll be going back to network utilities. There is a function you need to replace. And that's this function. Get board MAC address. And you'll be replacing it with this one. Okay. Close this notepad, open it again. The network utilities is inside the simple socket server RGMII project folder that you find with your Quartus project. So of course this is your Quartus project folder. There is a folder called software and there is simple socket server RGMII. This network_utilities.c is what we dragged here. So we're going to be looking for that function, get board MAC address. Not board MAC address, instead get MAC address, this one. So we're going to copy in everything here, the whole function. Scroll down. So this point, okay, here. We go back to okay. Oh yes, this is the one we're replacing. Control V. Now we have this one done. The next thing to do will be to comment out one line. Type Control F, this is to find, and type sector. The function I'm looking for is this though, so just right click and copy it. This function, I'll be replacing it with, or rather commenting it out. Why? Because, just wait, I'll show you why. So the reason I'm commenting out this function is because it's duplicated. Now once this function is commented out, and the shortcut to comment out a function like that is Control backslash. Backslash is the button that has the question mark on top of it. So now that it's commented out, I've saved my result. The reason I did that is because in this file, this function is there, and so you can have two of the same functions in the same project, and that's why I did that. So if you come here, find that function, sector set, Control F. This is the function, the same function. And so if you left it that way, you're gonna have problems. So you close. Now your project is ready. The next thing is to build. Right click on it and build. It seems I have some errors. Okay, what is it? Alright, I'm coming here and I'm going to evaluate what the problem is. Okay, I think I named something wrong. Oh, now this. The reason this error pops up is because there is a file you need to include. And if you go to Simple Circuit Server, inside the project file or folder you're given, inside this, go back to Notepad. Here, there is one more include. No, it's there. And so that's this one. This is the file you need to copy. Altera register definitions. You copy this and you paste just after the last include statement. If you watch or if you look at this TCP port.h, there's one more. You just paste it here, then review. It's going to generate an output file. It's .elf. This is it. Once you see it, socket server.elf, it works. Next thing is to hook up the board, which I'm currently doing. Ensure your RJ45 cable is plugged to the ETH1 port. There are two Ethernet ports there, and so you use the first one. As well as your router. Ensure your router is properly set up and plugged. Okay. Now we're going back to Quartus. For Quartus, you go to Tools, Programmer. There is a file. It's the old one that comes with the board. We're not going to be using that. So once it loads automatically like this, just know it's going to be deleted. So I'm going to delete this, then I'm going to add file. The first one that loaded is this one. This is the one that comes with the board. The reason we deleted it is because it works for version 10, Quartus Lite version 10. But we're not using 10 anymore, we're using 16. This is the one that works with 16. The difference between this and this, of course, as you see, is time limited. So you just double click on it or open it. Click OK. Now before I start programming to the board, if you don't see this, there is a hardware setup you need to do. So you click on this, then scroll down USB blaster, USB 0, because normally if you have the blaster installed properly, you should see both options. So select this and close. Once you do that, this should show. But if you don't see this option and you just have no hardware, what you need to do will be to go to your C drive. Altera 16.0 and search for blaster. Once you find it, you right click on it and you search or open file folder location. This is the installation file you need to run to install blaster. Once it's installed, you shouldn't have problems with it. So now that I'm done, I'm going to close this and I'm going to, my board is all set up. The router is on, and I click on start. Okay, now once you get this kind of error message failed, don't panic, it will work. Do it again. Now it's loaded. If you watch the board, if your router is properly hooked up, there should be about 4 green LED lights blinking. Rather, one should be blinking, then the other 2 static. But you should see indication that your router is connected. Once that is done, you're ready to run this or load it to the board. So what you do is right click on it, run as Nios to hardware. Now once that's done, I need to take out this message. Okay, I'll wait for it. Okay. Now there's another error message, and that's with target connections. Refresh connections should solve it. If it doesn't, we use another route. Okay, timestamp mismatch. So you close this. No. Back to where we were before. We were here, target connections. We have this issue, timestamp mismatched. We tried to refresh it, but it didn't work. To fix it, you just click on these 2 checkboxes. To ignore mismatched ID, then you run. When you run, you wait for the program, that's this file, to be downloaded to the board. When it does, you ought to see the IP address that gets generated. This is the IP address that gets generated, and once it's connected to your router, it broadcasts wireless networks. So this is what you use your Java program to target, this IP address, 192.168.